Any win that you have had over the past week. It could be in the gym, maybe with your nutrition, maybe you had a professional win, personal win, any win, drop it in the chat. I lost the chat, so that's helpful. That it? Okay, cool. Drop it in there. What is my win? I feel like I've been crushing my incline bench. That's going to be my win because low key, I've been upset that my incline bench has been going up because my flat bench hasn't been going up, which doesn't make sense. Why would I be upset that one of my lifts is going up? But been lifting heavier like a lot, and my lower body is getting thick. Yes. Okay. Okay. Love it. Drop your wins. Did you hit a PR? Did you crush your meal prep? Respecting my body when it's sick and working on healing. Yes. I love that. That honestly is I feel like for myself, definitely for you as well, like getting to the point where we can just rest and heal is such an awesome milestone. In the past, I've definitely been like, I still need to go to the gym. I still need to hit my calories, and like I would just kind of burn myself out. So I love that you did that. All right, last minute, and then let me go. Not having a mental be because of work. I had one last week. So we're good. We keep it pushing. All right, let me press record if you want to drop. Oh, sorry. Let me share my screen. If you want to drop any more wins, feel free to do so. I am always here for it. And if you're watching the recordings, I'm also always here for you guys sending me your wins. So I'm going to share with you my screen. Where is it? Here. Cool. You guys can see that? Yes, 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 yes. Cool. I was on a call yesterday with one of my mentors, and she goes, "Can everybody see my screen?" And two people went like this, but you couldn't see her screen. So she was talking for like 2 minutes, and we're like, no, like you can't see it. So it was really funny. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna talk all things Thanksgiving, the ultimate habits that you with freedom while staying on track. Is anybody just curious? You can put this in chat. You could just raise your hand. Is anybody a little bit nervous for Thanksgiving? Like, I'm going to lose my progress. How are we feeling? Are we feeling okay? I feel like a lot of us have been learning so much that we can take on Thanksgiving with freedom and not feeling like we're going to, blow over all of our progress. But it's very important to also understand, like, the habits that maybe you've done all of your life are changing, and we want to push into that. So I'm going to give you today, we're going to go through a bunch of mini little habits, and honestly I kind of want you to implement almost all of them. All right, so a couple things. Change your habits, change your life. Every single little tiny habit that you do on a day-to-day is going to make a massive impact over the course of the next 5 years and over the course of the rest of your life. So something so simple like if you used to cook in olive oil and you grab your olive oil and you just kind of do this to the pan versus now you're grabbing like a spray bottle and you're just spraying the pan, that is a tiny little habit that can change your life. You take that habit and you, instead of taking the elevator, you're taking the stairs. Instead of ordering I don't know, the side of something, you're getting a side salad. Instead of like something, those little tiny things that you don't really see make change in 1 month, add it up over the course of your life, make a massive, massive difference. Another thing with this is we want to be gentle with ourselves, especially if you are somebody that just recently joined us. Be gentle with yourself. I don't expect perfection for you. What we're looking for is progress. Similar to when you guys go away on vacation and we talk about like, what are all of the things that went well? Okay, maybe what are the things that we could have done better? So the next vacation we go away and then we just do much better. All right, so objectives today, some non-negotiable, 100% everybody will do this, daily tasks. We're going to talk about balancing your day, balancing your plate, and a little bit of mindful habits as well. So some non-negotiable daily habits, 100% this needs to get done. some type of movement, and making sure that you get your water in. That is going to be non-negotiable. Now, when it comes to movement, I don't really care if you get your workout in. Regardless, you know your workouts for the week. So if you get them in throughout the week, it doesn't necessarily have to be on Thanksgiving, but if it'll make you feel better, then go ahead and do it. I personally always work out on Thanksgiving, just because I go to sleep early and I go to wake up and I have the day to work out. I don't work out the day after Thanksgiving. I feel like that's kind of like a personality type. Some people love working out the day after Thanksgiving. You feel like you got a lot of fuel, you want to get that out. I don't feel my best, and I usually go to sleep late. Maybe I'll have some like a little bit of alcohol in there. So I don't want to work out the Friday. I work out the Thursday. If you choose to not work out, let's say you have a busy day, you don't have time for it genuinely, make sure that you're getting a walk in. So make sure that you're hitting your steps. And if you want to get both of those and you have time and you have a brother like me that's chefing it up all and you don't have to do anything, then you can get your workouts and your walks. But again, that depends on you. Another thing is making sure your water. I'll be completely honest, I've been slipping on my water lately. I definitely have to get that habit back. I noticed now that it's a little bit colder, my body doesn't crave as much water, but I can't let that habit slip by. So making sure that you are hydrated, because we don't want to go into Thanksgiving a little bit hungry and also dehydrated. So your body's asking for water and you just keep on giving it food. So 100% on Thanksgiving, I am going to move my body and drink 80 to 100 ounces of water. This is 100% non-negotiable. Write it down, say it in the morning. Now, next thing is prepping for the day. How can we create somewhat of that balance? Now, the way that I always like to go about it is, odds are nobody's doing like Thanksgiving breakfast, but maybe it's a thing. I'm actually not sure. So we want to go for something usual, hearty breakfast. And what I mean by that is, do not start your day trying to save any type of like calories. Don't, oh, I'm going to eat later. I'm going to save and I'm going to have like some blueberries and like 2 boiled eggs. What is going to happen when that pie is in front of your face? You're going to want to eat the whole freaking pie. But if you wake up and you have your hash browns and you have your eggs and you have your spinach and you have like whatever it is, you're going to feel less likely to want all of the foods. So we make sure that we are not waking up with restriction. So all that will cause is we are going to overeat after. It can be lighter if needed. So will I have my most calorie dense breakfast? Probably not, but it's definitely not going to be a super low calorie. So if you want to adjust certain things, maybe the hash browns are like, I think mine are like 300-ish calories, but if I do a sandwich, it'll be like 200. Little things, same meal, lighter on the calorie side, that's totally fine. Make sure you're getting your protein and your nutrients in. This is mostly for like my plant-based girls. Usually for most Thanksgiving, there's a lot of protein options, but when you're plant-based, there's really not, unless you're bringing it your own. So making sure, of course, in the morning, you are having that. And then when it comes to lunch, if you do a Thanksgiving lunch, obviously, like you're just having Thanksgiving for lunch. But some of you, personally for me, we do Thanksgiving later in the evening. Do not skip lunch. This is a mistake that I would also make. I skip lunch. I'm trying to save calories, save calories, save calories. And then at night, I just want to eat everything. So making sure that you are still having a light lunch. All right. This is where it can be a little bit lighter because we are trying not to fill ourselves up, still trying to have some calories for the end of the night. All right. Now, if you have a lunch for your Thanksgiving, depending on what time you have it, I've heard a bunch of different things where it's kind of like at 12 or like at 1 and you wake up kind of late. Then that's the case where breakfast is a little bit lighter. So you can play that out, but what we're really going for is don't go into Thanksgiving starving. That's just like your number one. Making sure that you're not going in hungry. Sometimes I'm even as crazy as like if I'm going out to eat and like I'm really hungry, like I'll have like some pretzels just because I want to make sure that I'm not starving going into any meal. It's something that I personally have felt helped my relationship with food, but obviously like everybody's on their own journey. So feel out whatever is best for you. So a couple of examples that you can have. You could do protein shakes. You could do like some type of fruit. some egg sandwich, protein pudding. Like you could do a high protein vegetable based meal if you're looking for something to have midday because you're going and you're eating at like 7 p.m. Maybe we're doing a lot of veggies, or maybe we're doing a really, really good salad. Honestly, I don't really know how I'm going to plan out my days, but in the morning, I'm probably going to have either some eggs, some hash browns, something along this line here. And then for the evening, the lunch, I'll probably go protein shake kind of vibe. Just make it simpler. So, regardless of when you're having your dinner, we want to make sure that we're planning out for that, or your Thanksgiving meal. Now, we talked about this on the eating out like a fit chick call. So when it comes to having Thanksgiving as your lunch, it's a little bit easier to plan for. You can have a protein shake right before, you can have like your breakfast, and then you go to lunch and you kind of have your day and it fills you up for a little while. At the end of the night, you can have some salad, you can have some leftover protein, you can have the veggies that are there. Like this is kind of like your main meal where all of your carbs will fall. If you have your Thanksgiving at the end of the night, make sure that we are still fueling before we go. So, regardless if you're having like some type of breakfast like this and a protein shake, or a breakfast and a salad, like just make sure that you are fueling and be a little bit extra mindful when it comes to Thanksgiving. The mistake that we don't want to make in either situation is we don't want to, like, okay, we're having breakfast, we're having Thanksgiving meal, and I'm just gonna eat all of my calories all right here. Like Thanksgiving is so amazing, and I want the pizza, I want this, I want the not pizza. I thought cake, I said pizza. I'm gonna have the cake, and I'm gonna have this, and I'm gonna have that, and I'm just not gonna eat later. That's also what we don't want. That's almost like if you're going and you're having it for dinner and you're choosing to skip lunch because you're saving those calories, that's the same exact thing. So if you're thinking I'm only going to have breakfast and lunch and I'm not going to eat for the rest of the day, that still brings the restrictive mindset in there. So we do want to still plan out what are those 3 meals that you're having for that day, and where am I balancing more of my carbs. Like my carbs are heavy on this meal, so I'm keeping my carbs a little bit light on another meal. All right. Now, when it comes to balancing your Thanksgiving meal, right? Balancing your plate. Pretty simple. Proteins and veggies are always going to go first, right? Making sure that that's on your plate. Communicate with your family. I know for a fact that for a long time, my family just didn't do vegetables. Like rice was the vegetable. So I had to bring the vegetables. I had to bring the salad option. So make sure you communicate. Like, are you going to be the person that's bringing some type of vegetables? Making sure that on your plate, protein and veggies go first. Second thing, avoid the fluff. If you don't really want it, if you don't really care for it, just leave it. I always relate to this to like that piece of bread that's always there. And we just kind of grab it just because it's there. But like realistically, I don't really want the bread. I'd rather have like the mac and cheese, or I'd rather have something that like bread is just kind of like bread. So if you don't really want it, if that piece of bread, if that piece of like whatever is just there, just leave it, right? And I put this on another slide too. We want to keep, or I would say minimize slash avoid, because I know sometimes you just want a little bit more of like something else because it tastes really, really good. We want to follow the 1 plate rule. The 1 plate rule, basically, what we are trying to accomplish here is when you are serving your meal, especially if it's like buffet style, when you are serving your meal, how can we aim to keep it to 1 plate? Why? What I've realized from like my family, from working with a lot of people, from even myself, is that we serve ourselves like a little bit with the idea of I'm going to go for seconds. Like it's just kind of like a normalized thing. But when we serve ourselves a little bit with the idea I'm going to go for seconds, we end up serving ourselves at the end of those 2 plates like so much more than we really needed. And I know personally for me, the reason that I would serve myself a little bit and then go for seconds is because I had a fear of seeing too much on my plate. So I kind of didn't want to hold myself accountable by seeing everything on 1 plate. However, what I have found has been a really good habit for me is like I want to know and I want to have balance with the meal that I'm choosing. So I challenge you to really make that decision of what is going to, of all of these foods here, what is going to be the best option for me and how can I keep it to 1 dinner plate. I know Rhonda had said her family last year, I don't know if you still do that, but her family kind of like doesn't sit down to eat. It's just like food is there and you kind of like graze at it. If that's the dynamic in your house too, grab a plate, serve your food, sit down and eat. It's a little bit different than everybody else will be doing, but it's a lot less likely that you will overeat if you see all of your food on one plate. Your hunger signals will kick in than if you're just having this and this and this and this and this and this and this, right? Number two, dessert and alcohol. So you can't have it all. It's one of those things. When it comes to Thanksgiving, I will 100% pick all of the desserts over having too much alcohol just because I freaking love desserts. And we bring a banana pudding that I look forward to every single year. So that's going to be my go-to. If you are somebody that wants to maybe drink a little bit more, okay, cool. Can we pull back on the dessert a little bit? Or are we pulling back on the carbs? But it is the reality of like, if you're having your Thanksgiving meal, if you're having your alcohol, if you're having the cakes and you're having everything there, you're just going to feel really full and you're not going to feel so great. Right. And it's not really going to be in line with your goals. Now, I am a fan of sampling everything. I will put a little bit of everything, even if it's all of the desserts. I want to try every single one of them. So I'll put them all on my plate. You can sample things, but just be aware of the portion that you're actually having. Making sure that alcohol hacks are present. Make sure that you're having your water, your liquid IV to hydrate. You're doing 0-calorie mixers. I'm always the one to pull up with the Diet Coke. This way I can mix it with whatever I'm having. So making sure that you're doing that. And most importantly, with balancing your plate, picking a portion that's going to make you feel good. This is huge. And it's so subtle, but how many times have we like eaten and we're like past discomfort? Like we're just like, oh my God, I'm so full. I don't even want to move. Like I don't even feel that great. So pick a portion that will make you feel good. That's one of my like best mantras. And I know in my family, like I'll give an example, like my uncle will sit there, he's like, oh my God, I'm so full, I can't move. I'm like, why'd you do that to yourself? Now you don't want to move and now you want to go home and go to sleep. Like that's not the point of why we are here, right? One plate rule, talked about that. Mindful eating, making sure with this, slow down, right? There's a lot of food. There's a lot of like people around if you have that dynamic. Making sure that you're tasting, you're appreciating your food, making sure that you're letting your hunger signals kick in. We get so excited. We want to eat all the things that are there, but slow down. What does the food actually taste like? I do this sometimes, like when I get very mindful, I'm like, how can I pick up one thing from my plate and really decipher all of the different tastes that I get? It's something that helps me slow down and be a little bit more mindful. Next, enjoying your company. Everybody has their different dynamic, but if you are sharing this moment with other people, this is supposed to be a time for us to be with loved ones, to be with your family, to be with your friends, whoever it is. And that really is why we come together. Like, yes, the food is social and food is so good. Food is love. It's an amazing part of it, but it's not the only part. And if we are so focused on like, how am I not going to blow my diet? How am I going to be super mindful? How am I going to do this, X, Y, Z? You're going to stress yourself out so much that you're missing out on the connections that you're supposed to be making. That is the number one thing. So I also challenge you for this. Yes, make it about the food and enjoy the food, but how can we make it about who am I sitting next to? Who haven't I seen? Who am I connecting with? Really enjoying your company. That's going to be the most important thing. Peer pressure. We love that. I get vegetarian peer pressure all the time. I get little freaking snobby remarks about like everything. So this is one that I will feel like I forever will deal with. Make sure that you hold your boundaries. So if there is something that you genuinely don't want, do not say yes to other people and say no to yourself. So if it comes to alcohol and you chose that you don't want to drink, no is no. If they're like, yeah, just drink a little bit, do not say yes to them and then come home at the end of the night pissed that you're like, fuck, I should never drink. Or no, I really didn't want that extra piece of cake. Like I just felt bad. Or somebody's like, oh my God, but I made this. And you're like, but I really just don't want it. Do not say yes to people and say no to yourself. We have a call on this. If anybody needs this, I can send this to you. My favorite terms that I like to use is when I'm choosing my meal, like when people are kind of pressuring me for certain things, I'll just say like, no, I don't want that. Like, it's not going to make me feel good, or that's not going to sit well with me. Or if I make a decision like I want more vegetables on my plate, I'm going to say like this makes me feel so good. Like when I use feel so good, you can't challenge me on that. Because if you're challenging me on the fact that I'm trying to feel good, does that mean that you want me to feel bad? That's honestly, I'll flip it right back on you, right? But that's the mentality, because we say yes and we say yes and we say yes, and then we end up not feeling great. So if anybody like gives you, just be like, no, like I'm full and I don't want to overeat, because then that's not just that, I'm not gonna feel good. And then be like, all right, what am I gonna say? I'm gonna make you not feel bad. Another thing, like for example, alcohol. If you want to say like I'm just challenging myself right now, I'm trying to go like this Thanksgiving without alcohol. Okay. Like it's just something that you're challenging yourself on. Right. So however you want to frame it, you can do like, hey, like I'm on this journey right now, educating them. Like I feel so good. I've been making so many changes and I really changed a lot about my habits. Like educate them. Obviously, we know the people that are going to listen and the people that just like don't get it. So just be careful with your piece there, but just making sure that we keep that abundance and we're keeping those boundaries, right? Making sure that we are always setting boundaries in our lives. This is the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself. I think this might be the last one, or I have another one. Tracking. Please do not track on Thanksgiving. If you track on Thanksgiving, I will be so upset. So please do not track on Thanksgiving. Not only is it like unrealistic, it's just going to make it a stress, and you can't track all of the things on your plate. You can mindfully track. I had a conversation, I forgot who it was with, but they were saying like sometimes I don't track and I feel like I look at my plate and I'm tracking. That's you understanding a lot about nutrition. You looking at your plate and saying like, there's not enough protein on that, or like, I actually need a little bit more calories on here, right? Intuitive eating comes from education, and you've done so much about it. Similar to like your finances, you go out, you see something that you want to buy, and you're like, that doesn't really fit the budget right now, and you understand that, right? Doesn't mean that this is actually a good thing. So I do not expect you to track on Thanksgiving. Please do not do that. If you want to mindfully track 100%, go for it. If you want to track at the beginning of your day, you can also do that. One thing for this that I sometimes recommend, anybody that has refeed days, if you want to take a refeed day the day before Thanksgiving, I am 100% okay with it. The reason that I say this is because I think back to like, again, my journey and my relationship with like dieting, calorie deficit, and all that. I would much rather have my refeed day the day before, where my hunger and my cravings can go down, so that when I go into Thanksgiving the next day, I feel a lot more in control. But again, that's like a personality type. If you feel that that is going to be best for you, if you're cutting right now, some of you are deep in your cut, some of you are on higher calories. This is kind of depends where you're at, but especially for the girls that are like you're deep in your cut and you haven't had a lot of carbs recently, like let's have your refeed the day before. You can have it controlled at home, and this way Thanksgiving is going to go a little bit better for you. And then also with that, with the tracking, I know this is like social era that we're in for the next like month or so. If it turns into kind of like a 3-day refeed, let's say you have an event on Friday or you have an event on Saturday, again, I'm okay with that. It's 1 week. I will help you with that. Shoot us a message, and then we'll talk about it. But I just want to give you that go to make the executive decision and choose what's best for you. So, last couple of things. Let's just recap this real quick. Number one, making sure everybody, you guys do this already, so I don't know why I say this, but like I have to say it. Making sure that you get movement in. That's going to be the best. You're going to feel your best, right? Making sure 80 to 100 ounces of water for sure. Preparing for the day, make sure you're having high protein, make sure you're having the nutrient dense, your light breakfast, the meals in the morning that are just going to make you feel so good. Balancing your plate. Protein, veggies, those go first on your plate. They take up space. Avoid any of the fluff that you don't really care for. If you don't really care for the glass of wine and you would rather have the mac and cheese, then go for the mac and cheese, right? Avoid second plates. If we would like, I think we did this last year. If you want, we can do like take a picture of your Thanksgiving meal. We're going for this again, is I want you to see how much you're eating, and I want you to make the mindful decision of what's going inside my body right now, and making sure that we slow down, we can be present, we can enjoy the people around us. All right, 1 plate rule, and pick a portion that's going to make you feel good. And that is pretty much it. remember that food is love and strength is power. The last thing that I'll say for this, and I'm also going to open up for some questions. The last thing that I will say is Thanksgiving for me has it, it used to kind of turn into like this like all or nothing. Like I would just overeat over the holidays, or like I was kind of restricting. And like Friday I wouldn't feel so good, and Saturday I wouldn't feel so good, and like Sunday I'm kind of already pissed. Like it was kind of like this negative thing. And I feel like over the last several years, Thanksgiving just kind of turned into like another dinner that I'm having, and it feels really good. So that's where we really want to get to. How does Thanksgiving, how does going out for dinner on a random Friday night, like how do those just turn into just another dinner that you're having where you're making the best decisions for yourself and you're able to really have that control? And yeah, do we have any questions? Anything anybody would like to share? There's some water. My voice is going.
So I'm having kind of a non-traditional Thanksgiving. We're not doing any big thing. However, I have 4 days off, and that's my concern. It's almost like traveling. It's like a really long weekend. So, but I liked a lot of your suggestions about just structure, planning things out, non-negotiables. So I learned a lot, and I'm not as worried about Thursday. For me, it's like Thursday through Sunday because you're going to be shopping, like like not necessarily family stuff, but like friend stuff all weekend, and it could really quickly turn into like 4 days of chaos. So I think I'm going to spend the next like half an hour after the call like setting up my workouts ahead of time, putting reminders in my phone about like water and walks and stuff. So um yeah, that's kind of my concern, is just 4 days of like being more disciplined than normal.
Yeah. Can we set a, so I like that you're going to do that after the call, just planning out your week. Do you feel that you can set maybe in the morning or every evening, just like a check in with I think at the morning would be good because you can set intentions for the day to kind of check in with
Yeah.
yourself with how you're planning and what you want to do. Because I feel like sometimes when we have so many events, one, it is like the social factor of that. Like that's the main reason that you're seeing all of these people. But how can you set yourself with like, I'm going to be structured. Like, this is what I'm going to have for dinner. I'm going to make the best decisions
Mm,
with what I have available. It's kind of like a little bit of journaling, but I think it will help you as long as you do that in the morning and you see success, let's say Thursday, and then you see success Friday, and then you're going to be like, oh, I want to keep it going for Saturday. So, do you think that would
yeah.
be possible for us to schedule in the morning?
Yeah, and I like that idea of touching base every day, because I can say this on Tuesday night when things are calm and quiet, but say by like Saturday morning when I'm like, yeah, on day three, I think reconnecting with what my goals are, how the 2 days have gone up till that point. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, and maybe just like writing down some goals for each day.
Cool. You can set an alarm on your phone if you forget. I'm a queen of alarms because
Yeah.
I will forget. I like that. I
Same.
appreciate you sharing. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to add or questions we have?
How many stacks did you have? You had a stack.
Talk to me, Carla.
It's a bit of a share and tell, right? Because Thanksgiving in my family has changed a lot since the pandemic. We no longer do these big, elaborate gatherings. It's a lot smaller than it used to be. And I've been helping a lot with hosting and preparing food for the past couple of years, to the point where I now can see how much food, like just the vastness of it and how much is left over afterwards, to the point where I no longer have that idea. Like if I don't have it tonight, I don't get it again until next year. And at this point, it's like I can have whatever I see that I want for right now. And if I want to have some more tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be there because it's a lot of food. So it really helped get that thought, like that mentality of like now or never, and having to overstuff my plate just because I'm the one that's doing the cooking and there's less people involved. So that's helped me out.
I like that. That's actually a great way to think about it because same with there's like 6 of us. It went from like a party of 50 to literally like 6 over the course of the years. And I always think of like, I see all the food and I'm like, I'm gonna have this tomorrow and I'm gonna have it the next day. But I didn't really think to like kind of put that in the presentation. So I appreciate you sharing. So this could be something for everybody. Even if you don't do all the cooking, there's always leftovers. Take a freaking Tupperware with you and grab all your favorite things. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? And then I will let you go. If you guys have any questions, anybody on the recording as well, anything that you specifically feel that you would want to work on or have some accountability on, like here for you for literally anything that you need. Even if you want to just show me your day, hey, this is what I'm eating all day. I'm just gonna send you pictures. I am here, however it is that I can help you. So we will talk. I hope you have a beautiful week and you're gonna absolutely crush it. Make sure you remember to check in with yourself. Bye.